Attention all forces. The Empire must capture the ancient technologies contained within these ruins before the Republic can claim them.
The scenario revolves around the ruins' ancient security system, which is powered by 2 energy pylons nearby. However, this system is dangerous. Every time the pylons are locked down, they emit a deadly explosive discharge.
Hello, this is Justin Lowe from DarthHater.com. I'm the editor-in-chief of the site, and we're going to go ahead and say that we are going to take a look at ancient Hypergates. This is the new Warzone that it came out with 1.6, Game Update 1.6. It's aptly named Game Update 1.6, Ancient Hypergate. So there we go. So this is the new Warzone. First off, you start off, running towards these points. For those that are unfamiliar with this Warzone, you run to the points, you go to the pylons, you click the pylons, and then you wait for them to activate. It's similar to, let's say, Alderaan Warzone, except in fact it actually takes almost nearly as long. I think it's so close that it's hard to actually even it's like see from a naked eye standpoint how big of a difference it actually is. But beyond that, it's pretty standard. They've described it as a DM match, along with one singular objective, or 2 singular objectives, I should say. One objective as far as a team is concerned, you have to control these pylons, and the more pylons that you can actually control for longer periods of time, the more points that you're actually going to push back, and it's almost like a push and pull sort of thing that goes on when it comes to the objective points here on the map. But beyond that, even beyond that, the actual explosion itself is kind of fun just to play around with. You kind of have to make sure that you have enough people on each side as well to defend off, or even attack as well, because you obviously want to go to the other side and get their points as well, because that gives you some extra benefit as well for those points. So it's kind of like this mechanic where you have to make sure that you're really communicating very well, especially before the match. Really important to communicate who's going on which side, what kind of makeup as far as a group you might have. In fact, it almost seems like you should maybe even think about customizing your raid group beforehand. Especially for those that are going to be doing this as ranked play. I'm sure they're going to be taking that into account. But beyond that, even for pubs, this is not an easy Warzone to play at all. It is probably the most requirement on skill level and also communication if you're going to be, trying to get this Warzone done, or actually win it. If you have any plans at all to win it. Primarily, once these pylons go off, you'll have to make sure that you're on your way to this center place where you can get in their safe zone, basically. If you don't meet it by the time that you get there, you'll die. It's an interesting mechanic along with this DM sort of thing that's going on. On top of that, it's got some really neat sort of group mechanics that you normally don't really have to employ in a pug, but you're gonna have to if you expect to win. So in that way, it's pretty interesting. There's not really much on the way of, let's say, like little tips and tricks. There's some nice, environmental cover that you can get behind, as you're seeing around this stuff right now, which can give you some line of sight, advantage if you're paying attention to it, especially for healers, and then also, even for rogues as well, or breaking line of sight and getting out of combat and, going back into stealth. So it has some, kind of good mechanics as far as the environment itself. But all in all, the Warzone is kind of as simple as it possibly could be, and in fact, it seems rather small in scope when you kind of realize it, or how big it actually is. But it doesn't really have to be big. In fact, it would be a detriment to the map if it was any bigger. It's currently at a point right now where you can get across the map very quickly as a group and make sure that you're controlling it very well. It almost reminds you of some of the old, UT and Quake maps of, area control and other stuff like that you kind of have to make sure that you're doing. So there's some sort of throwbacks there as far as my old school games that I used to love and enjoy. So for me, my impression so far is that it's pretty neat. It's going to require a big group, but, for people who are interested in sort of the more competitive things that take, or maps that take a little bit more skill level and more communication, I think this is going to be one that they're going to enjoy for those people out there that are looking for that. However, for pugs, I'm not entirely sure if they're really going to enjoy this one because it's going to be so... There's going to be such a steep learning curve and requirement on skill level and communication that I kind of wonder exactly how well this is going to play for them. But I'm really excited for it because I care a lot about PvP and I'm looking forward to it. This character I haven't really played in a long time because I kind of bailed on the operative. But this is my first time actually in the instance, so I tried to get into him on PTS, so this is actually my first time actually even playing it at all. But overall, you know, really loved it, really enjoyed it. Neat sort of look to it. It matches TFB, you know, Terra from Beyond. So if you're looking for something that's a little bit more themey, even though it doesn't really involve the Dread Masters, you're gonna get that, and at least a little bit more interesting as far as like the scope. So big thumbs up from me on this. Maybe you enjoy it. If you enjoy this video, let us know. Thanks all. Bye bye.